Hello, everyone, and welcome to day number 2 of the. It sounds a little light there. Day number 2 of the SPL. Hopping in there. Hopefully, you can hear me right now. Sounds a little bit light, but that may be just the talk back there. But of course, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for being patient. Yesterday, we had a little bit of a hiccup there, so hopefully today is all solved. We're getting rid of the first match. The first match is going to be Cloud9 HyperX up against SK Gaming. And joining me today, of course, is DM Brandon.
Hello, hello. SK is going to be going in here with a 3-4 record. They're trying to even it out. A win here is going to put them at an even mark, give them a little bit more, I think, morale. Cloud9 is actually starting to catch back up. They had they had a good first week, not a great second week, but now they're 5-3 going into their second game for week 3.
Well, I think a big component for C9 is going to be optics on that Giannis, and finally people have sort of decided that they're going to start banning out Giannis, and so they're starting to react to that a little bit as they do figure out how they want to kind of bring it into the forefront, right? Giannis banned out immediately at best game, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Optics is so good at this character and provides them such global presence.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. Take him away, his global presence is ridiculous. I mean, you're able to drop ship your entire team, a global ultimate just in terms of damage, and if you hit that portal, it's a guaranteed 500 damage late game that someone's going to take to the jaw.
Right.
That's incredible. Aphrodite's going to be picked out in response, which is a good pick. I mean, I think people are really underestimating her at this point.
Well, it's against Maniac, right? You don't want Maniac to pick up Aphrodite. He's very notorious for picking up those healing solo laners, are very tanky kind of characters.
Anyone who's good in
Aphrodite, Chang'e as well, shout out to you. Same thing to Azura. And then Geb going to be banned out immediately, which means they may be first picking an Athena here if they want to go down the road. Geb, of course, one of the best counters to Athena, able to break that taunt with that Geb shield, and of course, a very strong support himself. So if we see Athena first pick here now, almost colloquially across the entirety of the SPL, we've seen Zhonghui first picked here and second picked Mercury. This time around, we're going to see the reverse.
This will be Loki Zhonghui here. I mean, Loki has such a strong presence. Zhonghui is just an incredible amount of damage, able to burst anyone down almost instantaneously and then sustain himself through. But actually, they're going to let Loki through, and we're going to see Freya picked up.
That's right.
This could be ADC, this could be jungle, this could be solo.
Look at the hex graph for just Mercury. Isn't that ridiculous? Freya and Zhonghui locked in here for Cloud9, like you're mentioning, TM. And Zhonghui is such a hard character to go against because he deals a lot of damage, and also one of the few mages you can't focus because you can't kill him. I mean, we've seen some very interesting counters to Zhonghui. Nemesis is the most notable one. We've seen Kumbhakarn to knock him up in the air during the duration of his ultimate, and some interesting things there. But they're going to go for Nemesis, of course. Those of you who don't know, lowering the protections with the ultimate also makes it so Zhonghui is very killable. They're going for Rom, so they have a lot of late game scaling here with Rom and Mercury.
I really like this because, I mean, so far they have a lot of damage. They have a decent amount of control as well. Like you talked about, Nemesis Ultimate, able to kind of shut down the tankiness of Zhonghui. From here, though, they're going to need a little bit more tankiness themselves as we see Cloud9 once again look at Bakasura.
Well, we saw yesterday, Sile going up against NQ's Bakasura in the solo lane, just getting absolutely dominated there. And you can see why. I mean, he just rushes that heavy hammer, goes straight into boots, doesn't even go hog. We got the minion to keep himself alive, the mana keeps him alive as well. And so he goes in the lane, high damage, high control, a nice cripple as well. And that way, when you get to mid and late game, it's hard to deal with. We saw him get 2v1 ganked on Bakasura and got a kill and died.
Well, now, I mean, he has the option here. It's still a little bit ambiguous. He could be jungling with Bakasura. It's more than likely going to be the solo. As we go into the second ban phase, Chang'e gets banned out against Maniac. We're going to see Artemis removed as well. I think this is a little curious. We see Rama, and I'm surprised he would rather fight Apollo or even Neith than Artemis. I mean, Artemis...
Or even Freya.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, really, that could have been a wasted ban.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to, you know, late game potential maybe. I mean, you look at Apollo, definitely very strong, but Artemis's only real claim to fame after the adjustments is her late game power. I mean, she pops that too and she shreds. And so maybe they're worried about the late game. I mean, they've got Mercury, they've got Rom. If they are able to survive in the early and mid, Zhonghui starts to fall off a little bit. Thor will start to fall off a little bit. Freya will escalate and Zhonghui will stay about the way he is, but maybe they're just looking for that late game secure.
Really, if the fight starts and they're able to kite Bakasura through his ultimate, that's going to be GG. Zhonghui won't be able to carry that damage. He'll be focused too hard with Nemesis there. You're looking a lot at Bakasura to do very well in the laning phase and then get them into that mid game as fast as possible. Look for those Gold Furies. If they go into the mid game even, it's going to be really rough for them. And in a strange turn of events, Athena gets locked in like 1/1,000th down the line.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't even focused at all there on the other side by Cloud9. And, you know, honestly, if it slips through, especially after the the banning phase, right? No support focus at all here. Oh, they're hovering on the bots on Cloud9, which would most likely put Thor into support role. Hoonbots in the jungle, Bakasura solo, and then a Hunter Freya.
I like this a lot.
Very interesting spread, but definitely a lot of damage and control.
Not to mention, like, we're going to see multiple AoE ults.
Right.
We have Thor raining down. We have Freya raining down. We have Zhang Kuei controlling a huge amount of space. And then if by some reason they're able to get through that, Hunbots can then re-interrupt everybody, and then there's still Bakasura. I mean, we haven't even talked about him yet. This team comp is incredible, and this is going to do great for them in terms of maybe not having to carry so hard into the mid game as early as they would need to. SK at this point needs to use that global presence. Athena has to be known around the map. They have to get big very quickly.
Well, you're also looking at, one of the reasons why Cog Red had a trouble against Dignitas last week is that Snoopy had a very hard time bringing Mercury into the fight because there's so much AoE. I mean, he doesn't really have that way to engage, right? He tries to get in melee range to punch, but the AoE just strips him. And so if you look at this full AoE here for Cloud9, look across the way. I mean, Maniac's going to have trouble getting into Mercury trying to get that punch off. I mean, he only has a small window.
I don't know that I agree 100%. I mean, I watched that game 3 times because I wanted to know what went wrong. And the fight that really turned it around to Dignitas, Lassus got 3 crits in a row at 30%.
Right.
I mean, that is just unprecedented.
Well, that happened twice.
Right. I mean, that's unprecedented.
Yeah.
It's that kind of... Lassus gave himself enough time to get lucky. He didn't get lucky and win the fight for his team off the back of, a dice roll. He gave himself enough time and enough space to get that. Realistically, this is going to come down to poke damage. That's what I want to see. Mercury needs to chill out, stay back, throw the major looks, and do damage.
Be very careful. And one thing that, gets criticized a lot, especially by me. I'm a big fan of looking at this. If you're going to go to the anti-Guardian support, look for the Assassins and the Warriors to bring it in. A lot of your concerns is, you're going to dominate early if you play properly, but it comes down to whether or not you can have enough CC to control the fights late. And one of the few non-Guardians that can do that is Thor. You have the wall, the good stun, you have a good ultimate, you can also teleport, move around, and get in people's faces, plus you have a good AoE. And normally, when you think about Thor, you think you want to kill him. And so that kind of mental stimulus that kind of brings it into it, you want to kill off Thor. And so I think Thor is a good fit here. Emilito actually very familiar with the Thor support. He's played it before. So we'll see if they can actually bring this to the forefront. And I think with the assistance of Freya and the fact that Freya's been working very well in the Hunter role, and the fact they've got Hoonbots in the jungle, big team fight ultimate, a lot of control, very mobile with the jump, with the slow and the teleport, of course. I think they've got a lot of control early, but we can't take this away from SK on their side. I mean, you've got Captain Twig and Agni playing very strongly here. And of course, a reminder to everyone out there, Captain Twig, a big Alguang player. He can't play Kukulkan this week. It is banned out. And of course, Odin and Arachne cannot be played either. But we're going to bring up a little bit of the team intro here. Let's talk about SK Gaming as I'm bringing it up on screen. Of course, you're going to have a very strong lineup here. The winners of the EU Pro League kickoff lane. We got Maniac in the solo lane, and he's going to be playing Mercury. Captain Twig in the mid lane playing Agni. Reels is going to be playing Hunter with Rom. Badja is on the Guardian role, and he's going to be playing Athena and Zeros in the jungle with Nemesis.
So first things first, you're looking at the gold per minute, and everyone is doing amazing. They're all over 400, and you look at the KDA, everyone is massively, massively positive. Almost all of them above 3.0. We see a 2.3 on Captain Twig, 2.1 on Maniac. What I really love here is that the Mercury can turn the fight instantaneously, and Maniac, being one of the strongest jousters in the world, will be extremely versed in the boxing play of Mercury.
Well, we haven't seen Mercury versus Bakasura yet. We've seen Mercury against a lot of different solo laners, but not Bakasura. So we'll see how it works. Loki didn't work yesterday. We'll see how Mercury works against Bakasura. But Cloud9 coming up on screen. In the solo lane, we've got NQ. He's been playing Bakasura. Optics playing mid lane for Cloud9. He's been playing Zhang Kuei. In the Hunter role, we've got Youngbei, and he's going to be playing Freya. Emilito on Guardian playing Thor, and hi-rez in the jungle with Hoonbots. What's your take here?
Honestly, I'm worried about the teamwork. We've seen them do very well, especially yesterday. I mean, their game was incredible, but their teamwork is starting to fall apart a little bit in the late game. It seems like their Fire Giant pushes are a little bit weaker than they were last season. Their Gold Fury pushes are a little bit more sloppy. I think that has to do with the fact that this is almost an entirely new roster. NQ and Youngbei are the only members that we saw from the LAN event. So they really, I think, need to work a little bit more, trust each other more. It's all about trust.
Well, I mean, they kind of imploded right before the start of the SPL, and I think a lot of people really didn't have their faith put into C9. I mean, you lost 3 of their starting members. Of course, had to rebuild it and move people around, and you're thinking, okay.
A lot of people thought they weren't going to make it. They thought they were just going to let it go.
Yeah. They'd be able to reform, of course, work the organization. Cloud9 was the one that was invited to the SPL. They reformed, they got the members. And NQ, previously, not really in the same world, right? SK Gaming, it was in Mortality a little bit, from the old roster, of course. And you look at them, you're thinking, okay, they can bring this together. I mean, Youngbei convey great, stable optics. I think probably one of the biggest surprises because he wasn't really one of the forefront players of the top-level competitive scene for Smite, and then he just comes out and just gets it.
Well, it's going to be his time to shine once again as we're going to get into our first game of our Thursday of Week 3. This is going to be, again, SK Gaming versus Cloud9 HyperX.
The bottom side of the map, SK Gaming, they're coming out here on the grass. Now, a few things to talk about here as far as the map goes. We've seen some interesting interactions between the junglers, right? I mean, on the order side here,
Dry Bear.
is there a hammer?
Double heavy hammer. You know how I feel.
It's what they did yesterday.
You know, and how did they do?
They did great. They also substitute out Nemesis on Emilito for Thor, which I think is a great sub out for support, applying a lot of hard CC, but a lot of good damage as well.
Yeah, you know, not a lot of people realize how insane Warrior's Madness can be in this situation. I mean, that's 30 damage in a duo lane that he gains at level 1 as a support who's also has Heavy Hammer, which is 18 damage. He's going to walk into that lane with 48 damage and an AoE. Like, get hit. See what happens.
And once he picks up any kind of control, but I think that's the biggest part about the Heavy Hammer is that there's no real loss, right? You get HP, great. Damage, great. Slow, great. I mean, everything about it is great. And it's also cheap. And so that's the biggest thing is that for a physical damage dealer, nothing about this has a downside. But back to my original point, I mean, you look at the jungle here, and we'll see if there's going to be any major invasion. We've seen Chaos invade the Order movement speed a lot.
Right.
We've seen Order try to steal away the Chaos damage side a lot, and we've seen some adjustments to the jungle, but it looks like SK is going to be running standard. Same thing goes for C9. You have 2 members from SK on the Order side, the bottom side on that green grass, going for the mid camp. Then you're going to go over to the blue, and of course, as the Soul Laner moves by the backside wall of the damage buff, he'll get level 2. They'll go to the blue buff and clear it out. Nothing really out of the ordinary here.
I'm looking at wards here. I see 2 blue wards on the map. I don't see any red wards. I don't even see them in their inventory, which means if they...
It's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a very strange ward. I think they're trying to block out maybe an early speed invade. I don't know what they're looking for, but all I can say is they didn't use these wards effectively. They're basically fighting against, you know, 2 minutes down the line instead of right now. That gold is technically wasted if they're not being used, and now Emilito's going to come in at level 2, and look at the damage under Reels. Just, I mean, he barely even touched him, and he got serious damage off.
Badge rubber banding a little bit there, running up towards the back Harpy. Looks like Badge is going to steal away the Harpy camp and go back to the lane here. Did he start for Hog 2? Looks like he did not. So that's going to be Hog 1 with multi-potions there. They're going to be hunting down, looking over. Looks like they're going to be going over towards the movement speed buff. Yeah, again, this board is quite weird as you look at it, right? Because it doesn't, I mean, it only stops you from getting invaded on the movement speed if they go that route. It doesn't cover the buff.
Emilito has 1 health potion remaining, whereas we see 4 multipots on Badger. And strangely, they're getting pushed out. Actually, Emilito could be in some trouble. No, gets out of there just barely. Youngbay takes some damage. It's surprising to see how hard they're pushing, but Badger's going to have to start popping those potions because his mana is already depleted trying to box out Emilito. Emilito has about 2 moves left before he's going to get pushed.
Right, yeah, well, right side, Zero's taking a little bit of damage here from Hyrock and NQ. Of course, remember, they do have a great slow on Hyrock Somersault, and then he can respond on that one. So we'll see if it actually forces them out of the lane here. NQ going to back up towards the tower. Damage buff is down here. We're going to see Hyrock rotate, not early, but not late either. I mean, towards the 2-minute mark is about 20 seconds before the jungler leaves the solo lane, so he may be looking for a poke here as they move around. Zero's not going back to the back Harpy. Hyrock may be looking to stop it here as they do look at that. Now we're going to move over, overhead smash the mid lane to do some damage to Captain Twig. Of course, he's got that mana there. I'm looking at that movement speed buff.
You know, what I was looking at is the fact that Hyrock just basically camped on top of a ward, thinking he was going to try to be sneaky. He was actually caught that entire time. I see 200 gold right now worth of wards on the map for SK Gaming.
Amazing.
And really, they haven't done too much with them. They need to be either more aggressive or just a little bit more sneaky, and so far they haven't done anything in terms of steals. You look at the gold count, they have a very small lead right now in about 100 gold, not even wave to wave. And with that, they're technically behind a little bit.
One thing we should mention as well is we do see the return of an item we don't see all that often, but we do see it on the side of C9. This time around, it's going to be on SK Gaming. It's the Mark of the Vanguard there on Badge. And now, Mark of the Vanguard does actually have a pretty significant influence at the beginning. It doesn't give a whole lot of protections, but what it will do is it reduces any source of damage by 5, which is great against multi-source damage. You look across the way, Humatsu's ultimate hits multiple times, John Quay's tick on the Exposed Evil hits multiple times, even the spin to win on Thor also hits multiple times, so it's going to reduce every source of that. But the main thing of the lane phase is going to reduce the damage that the minions deal.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to dive into a minion wave and take 6 forms of damage and return, or rather, I guess, reduce by 30 every single round. I mean, that's a huge deal, especially this early in the game. But it looks like there's going to be a rotation over towards the left side mid camps. We have a 3-man grouping from SK, 2-man grouping over on the right side for C9, neither of which will be contested, as both Youngbei and Reels are just kind of doing their own thing on the left side. Youngbei a little bit, I guess, lax right now, needs to kind of hang back, doesn't have the same clear potential, even with that potion.
Well, I'd like to see a little bit more aggression come out from Reels, because a lot of times you're going to pop the pulse to clear the wave, and all you have left is Radiate, which means you don't have that single target damage you'd have if both of them were active, of course. And so Reels can jump in there and get some pokes, and also use the fact that he has greater wave clear and use the minions as a body block for the shots. We do see a rotation towards the mid camps. Mid camp on the left side will go to SK, right side going to C9 as they do leave the lane here now. Capture Twig forced out of the way, but again, it's pretty much been very stable here. It seems like both teams not really looking for any major gains.
So far, it seems like, yeah, they're kind of taking this one slow, which is curious, considering NQ.
Emily's going up in the air here, looking for a gank on the left side. Reels looking for a shot. Can he find it? He's going to get stunned out. Needs a wall to stop it. There goes the walk. The ultimate on top of Reels, reducing the damage he takes here. He's going to dash away. Reels not looking for the counterattack, but looks like they will backing up on the right side.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, NQ tried to burst him down. He's looking for the jump. Dash. Only dashes once. Very smart. Didn't get over aggressive, and now Zeros is going to look for the kill here. Has a few more shots, but nice rotation from hi-rez. Spends the last remaining bit of his mana to shut Zeros' attempt down. First blood cleanly will go to NQ.
Wow, and he actually swung there, which broke the Swift Vengeance, but he realized that he was right on top of him. I don't know why NQ decided to turn around and run back into him at that point. It was a little weird.
Oh, no, he hit him once for the slow and then run away.
Right, but no, when NQ had turned back around and ran into him after the hit, it seemed like he was trying to go around him and just got ran into his hitbox there, a little bit strange. But he was able to escape with the help of hi-rez come back over. And that's what we were talking about earlier, that Humbot's ultimate is great for spreading people out and kind of getting that zone control.
Now looking about 5 minutes into the game, not a lot of pressure towards the Gold Fury just yet, though we are seeing a ward come out from SK. Badge is just trying to keep that locked down. Looking in the inventories right now, though, on Cloud9, there are 4 wards total, 2 on NQ, 2 on Emilito, so we're probably going to see this thing start to light up like a Christmas tree.
One thing to note as well is both supports in this game have no GPM items up yet at all. And without Watcher's Gift, of course, you have the Frostbite Hammer there. I'm sorry, the Heavy Hammer. I'm even in my mind considering them the same thing. They're going to be looking to pick that up early there from Emilito for the slow, and of course the way you've got that Mark of the Vanguard. So support's falling a little bit behind here in gold. Normally they'd be a little bit closer to their counterparts on their team, their teammates, of course, but this time they're struggling a little bit in the gold numbers. We'll see if that affects them. Of course, as towers start to fall and gold furies start to fall, they'll start to catch up pretty quickly. But we need that sovereignty up pretty fast here in the beginning.
Well, I want to take a look real quick at the solo lane comparison. I mean, we've talked a lot about NQ over the last 2 days, and this is the second time in 2 days that we've seen him lock himself into Bakasura, and it's doing very well for him. Right now, he is locked in at a 2 KDA with a 57% win rate. 480 gold per minute, though, skyrockets him ahead of Maniac at 440, though the KDA is slightly in favor of Maniac. I think that comes down to just his overall joust prowess.
Sure. Well, NQ is going to rotate over here towards the mid camps and try to find something here. Going to get a lot of damage on Zero's bomb coming down. Of course, he's still CCing me for the first 1.5 seconds. Zero forced away. There goes the damage on top. Capture Twig surrounded. Pops the Purification Pizza, jumps away the slow from hi-rez. Just got a great taunt from Badger. Optical should clear this one out if he survives the tower damage. So Rommel from above. Each time's by a time, but he's so dead here. There goes the kill. Now jumped away. hi-rez still alive. Emilito goes down. Youngbei is joining the fight. That may force them to disengage. Indeed, it will. When it's all said and done, it's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange.
I think that was pretty smart overall from Cloud9. They're trying to get themselves as deep as possible. Try to get some extra gold, extra pushes. It's all about this early game for them. They have to use those heavy hammers more effectively. And in the way they traded there, I mean, they got the jungle and they got the mid. Comparatively, I mean, they took down a support. Not that big of a deal.
Looking at the Control-T bar graph here, you're going to see that all gold kills and damage on the side of C9 goes to Bakasura, and all kills, gold, and damage goes to Agni, played by Captain Twig. So a pretty easy separation there. Of course, Solo Lane getting a lot of gold, but the fact that Captain Twig survived that fight in Optics didn't mean that Optics got shot down in the charts a little bit. Right side, Maniac trouble grabbing NQ, throwing him away, but throws him towards the tower, cutting off his own escape route. Does he have an ultimate? He does not, but great wall and hammer from Emilito. NQ just doing way too much damage.
I mean, he was maybe going to get that kill, but Emilito right there, holy, that was an absolutely perfect wall. It was frame perfect. It was pixel perfect. He shot it directly on top of him, pushing him on the side of the map he was supposed to stay on. I mean, that was just absolutely beautiful. And now NQ getting even more damage off as he goes right for it. Zero's taking a lot. Ooh, he might be able to turn this around. NQ will take some damage there. He does have a little bit of sustain. Mercury works his way back, but it looks like NQ... Oh, no, he's going to get greedy and stick around.
Well, you do have the Mercury ultimate, which could hit him, but of course the lane is a little bit jaded, so it's hard to get that line of sight.
I don't like this.
So NQ is going to be sticking around for a little bit longer. He does have an 8 minion here, so we'll see how much HP
he
goes
did already.
up when he does come back up. He's going to be jumping back to the jungle here. Smart play, realizing that he's in a lot of trouble, going to be backing off from there. The question is, does he go for the oboe?
You know, we've seen this item not a ton, but it's so strong on Bakasura. I mean, 40% attack speed given to a character who's already doing a lot of damage based on how much attacks you have, or attack speed you have, is incredible. I mean, you're always looking at Butcher's Blades. It's giving him passive damage, and then it's giving active, true damage on his hits for X amount of seconds. I mean, that could really play a huge benefit for him. And not to mention, it'll help his wave clear, which is notoriously weak.
Taunted out here, forced away in the jungle, trying to look for the hammer. Doesn't have it currently. Slow coming out from Zeros. He's got some distance soon with that hammer. It's got to come up shortly. There goes the hammer jumping, popping the ultimate, immediately ultiming up. Smart play there. Nimba might be coming back into the mid lane. Optics looking for some damage to spawn. Good zone. Looking for another hammer to jump on out. Optics ultimate is already on cooldown. Look for the jump. Gonna get the taunt there. Now the damage is coming out here. Zeros cannot get out. Forced away. hi-rez coming through, but gets sniped out by Reels. Now back in the mid lane. It's going to be, again, a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of SK Gaming.
That was a good turnaround for them. It honestly looked like Emilito and Optics were going to be able to turn that one around in their favor, but there was just too much damage going through. And again, they kill Zeros. He's 0-2 right now comparatively to Emilito, who's 2-2. Optics is 1-2, so the gold gain was massively in favor of SK there. And they're starting to even things back up. Only 200 gold separate the two teams and 100 experience. I mean, effectively, that is, and this is as even as it's going to get.
I like the fact that both mid laners are committing early to active items here. You can see a lot of aggression coming from both sides. You see Captain Twig picking up the Greater Purification across the way. You do see Optics going for Aegis Pendant and then right into Greater Purification himself. And you realize that, you know, you've got Hoonbots coming from the flank. You've got, you know, Youngbei on Freya coming from the flank. Even Emilito with a stun on the side of Captain Twig. And across the way, you've got Zeros with a slow, Mercury with the ultimate as well. There's just too much CC that could shut you down early. And they realize they're playing for mid game right now.
Emilito almost actually went for that mid camp on the left side. He did force out a Hand of the Gods. I'm pretty sure that came from Zeros. Not 100% sure. But either way, SK does get the left mid camp. It looks like the right went to C9. So they do gain a little bit on each side. But, you know, C9 is starting to maybe lose grip of the lead that they were starting to secure.
Right side, Maniac does have an experience advantage on NQ, but NQ has a slight gold lead here as it's now waved away. Checking the numbers, 5,900 across the way. Maniac's got 5,700, so 200 gold differential. And yeah, you can see the crit potential. I mean, once Maniac gets a little more crit, that's going to hurt so much.
Again gets the crit, 352 swinging again. You know, I think now that people are starting to realize that you can play Mercury kind of like old Sun Wukong, where you're just spamming out those shots.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a lot more damage overall. I mean, I'm looking at Merc's build right now. He has 10% chance to crit, and he just swung that twice in a row.
Well, at this point, he's going to be pushing to the wave. You're going to find a made you look, but NQ's going to predict it and back away there. Smart play. I mean, honestly, controlling the wave as much as he can. He goes for Purification, beats one. That just buys enough time for him to dash away. Just popping the cripple. But in mid lane, we do see a rotation coming out from SK. Good slice there. Badger looking for a taunt. Great stun and double stun from C9. Badger caught in place. Bounce ultimate coming through. Badger in trouble. Bomb coming down from above. Good stun. Thor ultimate will force the secure there as Badger jumps away and looks it back to the jungle. But what a great response from C9.
Not speaking of responses, here comes Maniac. A lot of damage coming through. Is he going to be able to find it? Optics in trouble. He's actually staying alive for almost way too long here, and he finally goes down.
In the fight.
Maniac's going to do some damage. NQ2 and away. Can he jump out? Look at that health bar. Are you serious?
Looking for some damage, and Real's going to find it. Real's looking for the shot here on Emily, so Kenny gets enough damage to bring him down here. Remember, he is playing guarding this time around. Damage coming through. He's surrounded by himself, backing away. Flame Wave is all he needs. Each time it comes out there, Emily will be taken out by Captain with the dash away in time. There goes Badger coming for the base. Now looking for hi-rez. Needs a taunt. Can't find it. Preemptive strike. There's the reach. A few more shots will take him lower here. If he jumps the wall, he's going to jump into Reels. Needs some more damage. Somersault coming off cooldown any second now. I don't think they're going to secure this kill. Looks like this one will escape them, but great play by Badger. And beautiful shot by Captain Twig. He Aegis to buy time for his dash. When it came up, immediately shot backwards.
You know, that's the thing, is he didn't immediately shoot backwards. There was a good, like, 0.75 seconds to a full second where Youngbei had an opportunity and he missed the auto attack that he needed. And that, you know, that's got to hurt the morale. I mean, Youngbei's going to feel that one.
Yeah, well, he's starting to feel it already, but he does have that Witchblade to start. Going to help him a lot with that Mercury, Nemesis, and Rom at the mid-game stage when the team fights start breaking out even more. So Youngbei, this is something we've seen a lot. Witchblade seems to be being injected into a lot of builds now. Good slow. good movement speed increase, a lot of physical protection as well.
Well, I mean, take a look at the team here. I mean, they have Zeros, who's going to be doing physical damage. We have Maniac doing physical damage, and Reels doing physical damage, all of whom rely on attack speed.
Badge in trouble here, taken out by High Rock. Bomb coming down from above. Zero's looking for a follow-up on NQ, can't find it. The Gold Free gets leashed by Young Bae, then the bomb comes down. There goes the Captain Twig coming out here, and now we see on the right side, Maniac is still caught in the solo lane. Dash away from that fight will be Zeros, but this is a free Gold Fury.
Oh, High Rock taking some serious damage. One more hit will do it. Reels will find a small amount of gold there, but they're not going to worry about this one. They're going to turn around for the Gold Fury. Reels might be able to do some disruption here. It's a tough call. Zeros could be in some trouble if he moves in, but Emilito's low. I think he saved this one.
So looking for Emilito. Can he find it? Gonna find it. There's still 2 shots. Emilito's gonna go down. NQ still alive. Needs a dash. Can he find the distance? NQ should be able to jump away. No! He gets it clutching the wall there. Able to get the shot from around the corner. That was literally the smallest window to go around the wall and still found it.
That was absolutely gorgeous. Reels pits himself against 5. Finds 2 and stops the Gold Fury push. That is going to keep his team in the game. They are actually 2,800 gold ahead. Without those 2 kills and without the Gold Fury, that would have been even.
And Maniac got 2 towers and stole the movement speed buff in the process. So SK Gaming on the back of Reels, able to clear that one out. And, you know, that's the thing, right? You look at Reels and say, oh, it's just Rom, ignore him. We got Gold Fury, it's no big deal. But he got, and here's the thing, it's all intelligent uses, right? He picked off High Rock because they realized all their cooldowns were used to chase Zeros out of the fight. Came back, they couldn't chase on him. He goes for the sprint, kills off High Rock, gets out of the fight. They seem, okay, he's gone. He's not going to come back on 4 players. He does, but what he does is intelligent. He goes for Emilito, the one tanking the Gold Fury, takes him out with the ultimate.
At the same time, Cloud9 was kind of scattered. 2 of them are saying, hey, we'll go fight this guy, and 2 of them are saying, hey, we should stick to the Gold Fury. By the time they finally make the call, Emilito is at 1-2 hits maybe. I mean, he's super low, can't fight anymore, and you know he winds up getting put into a very bad spot.
Real's a great person to have on your fantasy team, especially in this match here. We're going to see Captain Twig start out with this very cheap, he's got to go for that cheap helmet on Captain Twig. I love this choice. It's 1,900 gold, gives you a little bit of flat head that works well with the Shoes of the Magi. Actually, he's got Spear, Shoes of the Magi, and of course the helm. He's got pure pennant.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but he's going to be pretty tanky. It's considering across the way you're looking at, you know, crits from High Rock. There'll be crits eventually coming out from NQ. That's a lot of damage reduction that could possibly go down depending on who they decide to go for.
Now, you're NQ here. What do you do, DM? You have no towers on the side. You can pretty much free farm and go to rotate. Do you farm a bunch, keep this lane pushed up, or you'll help your team? The
issue is that Bakasura in the end game isn't really super strong. As we get towards the end game, you know, the later stages of the mid game, he really needs to find a kill. They need to get 1 or 2 picks very cleanly, hot off the back of Regurgitate, and find that Fire Giant before 20 minutes. Otherwise, Bakasura he's going to start feeling the weakness.
He went for chins, not the Odysseus bow to start out here, so going for the extra damage going to help out a lot, especially against targets. You know, you see a lot of HP across the way. Badja, of course, picking up that steel mail. You're going to see, you know, honestly, I may even look for Executioner just because there's a lot of physical protection over HP.
I mean, he could. He definitely could. Crit damage as well would be pretty strong. But, I mean, at the same time, we're talking about Bakasura, a character who's not going to be super strong again in the end game. And he's gone into sprint here. He has no beads. At this point, if I was SK, I would say, listen, Bakasura is a sitting duck. Let's just burn him down.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, that's the big thing, right? He only has 1.5 seconds of CC immunity during that ultimate. Once it ends, he can be freely CC'd. And, of course, if he doesn't have the ultimate, his presence is lost. He's then down to melee range, which is difficult for him to manage. The Gold Fury has respawned, though, DM, so we're going to see this area going to group out the left side. Young Bae going to get taunted away. Looks for Badger, can't find it. Rios is backpedaling here as Emilito is rotating over. But looks like it's going to be A-OK. 2 rotations from the mid lane from SK Gaming. Captain Twig and Zeros in the area. But looks like there's going to be a little bit of caution from both teams.
Speaking of Captain Twig, 9,100 damage right now, far and away the highest in the game. Next up would actually be Bakasura at 7,800, but then I'm looking at Badger all the way down at 1,400, whereas we're seeing Emilito over 4,000, actually significantly higher.
Move out to the left side, force him away, look for the damage on Badger. There goes a shell activation, overhead special going to come through. Badger's going to dash away, can get the distance on Fred. They can indeed. Optics is there to meet him. Emilito's up in the air, looking for the dunk. Gonna find it mid-dash. Reels and Chobio goes up in the air, but he is dead to rights here. He needs to find a kill with his team. Can he do it in time? Maniac killing NQ on the right side. There goes NQ. Actually, Emilito going down to the damage. The card hits Reels. Over the wall goes High Rock for the kill. Can't find it. Optics dropping low here. Zeros wants the damage. Can he find it? little bit trouble there. Then actually, hi-rez forced back here with about 200 HP left. Captain Twig unable to find a kill. He had one bomb left, but that's not going to do it.
hi-rez finally finding an overhand smash. He actually missed the first two in that fight, and then finally hit the third one for the kill. Captain Twig getting very low. Maniac looking for an opportunity, not going to really find it here. He'll be able to force them back, and in fact, whether or not he knows it, he actually stopped Optics from backing. That's a good push.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, we saw Zhong actually back away from that fight. But the fact that he's so tanky, especially with that Bancroft, he's able to heal up a lot with that lifesteal. Let's look at the God performances here. You can see Zhong currently at 1.9 KDA and 452 GPM. They win almost exactly the same. They do exactly win the same amount of games. But 2.7 KDA and a little more GPM on Agni. It seems like overall Agni gets more gold, but then again, Agni gets played less.
That's true, but in this game, it's kind of showing us that Agni might be a little bit stronger. I mean, Captain Twig, 11,000 damage right now, whereas Optics, who is pretty much all AoE damage, is only at 7,500.
Well, again, to be fair, one of them is mainly solo, one of them is mainly mid. So you're going to get more gold in the solo and less kills, and you're going to get a lot more kills in the mid lane, you're part of more fights.
In this case, it just seems like Agni to me was the smarter pick, especially with the Nemesis. I mean, they're really shutting this character down, and you know, when you have a character that may over centralize the meta or be a first pick or first ban kind of character, it's smart to pick against them. And you know, they jumped into the early Zhang Kui. In this case, it almost seems like they baited it. It almost seems like they went into this saying, "Hey, we should give Optics Zhang. We know he's going to pick him. We'll pick Nemesis and have no problem whatsoever."
Well, so far it seems to be working here. 11 to 13. C9 has the kill lead, but nowhere near the gold or experience. So you see 4,000 experience in favor of SK Gaming. 2,400 gold as well, so definitely looking very sharp here on the right side. Maniac is still holding onto this tower so vehemently, making sure this never goes down. That means that NQ never really has a chance to leave.
I'm liking this from Maniac right now. I mean, he's level 19. The Deathbringer is done. And, you know, in the beginning I was talking about they need to stop going in with the Mercury. Stop looking for those auto-attack builds and jumping in and trying to do the crazy stuff. Focus on the Wukong style. Focus on the poke, and that's what we have here. We have penetration coming out from Tabby. We have extra AoE damage coming out from Golden Bow, as well as crit chance. And now we have the extra crit damage as well as crit chance coming out from Deathbringer, as well as 50 damage. I mean, that could be big.
Goal for your grouping here. Going to find hi-rez. Pop Purification beats Ball. Comes out. Amulet to force with the air. Does not take enough damage to die here. Looking for the badge. You're going to find Amulet to drop very low. Reels ultimate up in there, doing a lot of damage from the shots here. Amulet to drop in low. Shield is active. It's going to fall off any second now. There goes the teleport. Zero's is low. Half HP. Big crit coming out from Maniac on the right side. There goes the damage from Youngbait taking out Zero. Looking for the follow-up as well. Maniac forced out of the fight. It's going to be a bit of a win here for C9, taking out 3 for 1. The Gold Fury is available, but can SK defend it? The Major Look coming out here, forcing back. Big crit on Emilito. He goes down here. hi-rez jumping over the wall.
Don't fight
Can't find the Sacred Monkey.
Don't fight that.
The Major crits coming out.
Don't fight that.
Still going for it. Grabs him. He gets killed out by NQ, and now it's just Badge up by himself. That Shinsai is doing work for NQ. The Gold Fury is going to be available, and C9 takes the win.
A little bit too aggressive there. They should be able to get this. It looks like they do have enough sustainability. Cloud9 really needed this. Full deicide, they lost 3, but they also gained the Gold Fury in a sharp dip as we look at the gold difference. Right back 200 gold in now in favor of Cloud9. Experience difference inside of 1,000, and that's pretty much raw, though Maniac is level 20 now and is the first person to hit it.
Yeah, wow. I mean, what a great play there. And honestly, you know, with 30% crit, Maniac was buying his time and just hoping for a really lucky hit there. You know, he didn't have to fight. He could have just sat back, like you were saying, the Wukong style, and just throw out the Major Looks. Keep him off the Gold Fury and disengage.
I like the boxing on the Humbots. He got that for free. After that, he should have
dipped. Yeah, no.
He should have just ran away and then Major Looked. It would have kept him off the Gold Fury. But I think he was kind of feeling himself after getting that kill onto hi-rez. He's thinking,
he was looking for a lucky crit. Again. He just wanted a lucky crit. I mean, it's already the 356 crit on Emilito took him out from range, and then he tried to go in for the box, got hi-rez as well, but he just a little bit caught there. Zero's going to get stunned out by Optics. Optics not looking to commit to that one. They're going to back off as Zero's goes back to the damage buff. hi-rez looking for a Warrior's Bane into a Titan's Bane after Jotun's full pen for him. Youngbait looks like he's going directly into Rod, though.
Oh, the helmet didn't come out. We actually see the other helmet.
The cheap one.
Yeah, the cheap one.
Yeah, so I was saying, the 1900 gold flat pen helmet versus the crit helm.
Right. I mean, I'm really surprised to see that considering the team on the other side, but then again, I mean, we see a
3250 is a lot of gold.
Else.
3250 for a single item, and the tier 3 is 2,000 by itself.
Yeah.
He'd be sitting on that tier 2 helm for a long time.
Not to mention the fact that there isn't a lot of crit damage over on the other side. It seems Bakasura is going into a hidden dagger just now.
Sure.
And then hi-rez has actually opted into Titan's Bane here instead of crit damage, which is extraordinarily unusual.
Pure pen. He looks across the way. I mean, you can see that not much physical protection is being built here, just the side.
Maniac taking way too much damage. Right side, NQ getting real deep, going for it as hard as he can. Maniac's forced to ult, actually does get the knock.
Ooh, the distance, the mage you look for some out here. Rotation coming out from Captain Twig. The bomb is on above, but he's so tanky. Emily's looking for the stun, can't find it. Berserker Barrage is going to miss as well. He's still running. Maniac is out of there, still trying to survive. NQ goes out to the mage you look. Maniac gets the kill. Emily's are forced away. Who Bustle coming out there, force him into his big spread. Bomb coming out from Captain Twig. Flame Wave will finish him off. Emily's are going down. hi-rez has no ultimate, but Optics does. Be careful about the protections here as they do double, but what a play from Maniac.
Yeah, I mean, Mercury's totally fine.
He's hard.
It's completely balanced.
He's hard.
Why? I still don't understand why we're not seeing this character banned. He has incredible poke potential. He has incredible damage. He has CC. He has a Nyan global presence. Like, what in the world?
Well, we saw, actually, you know, across the way, C9 banned Aphrodite, Nuwa, and Chunga. So they were very worried about the solo.
I'm not.
And then they picked
I'm
Mercury for the solo.
I'm not on the Nuwa ban train. I'm not. I mean, she's strong, but she's not that strong.
Maniac in the mid lane, takes damage to the tower, dashing away from this, where there goes the card on
that's
top. Won't be enough. Needs actually some good stun from Captain Twig. Might keep him alive if the ghost comes through. The card will fall off. Maniac still, no! The card did get the kill. The stun from Captain Twig was not enough, and the damage from Optics takes him out.
That was needed. I think, getting Maniac out of the fight. They need to force something now. They need to really press this advantage. I mean, you look down, they still have 2 ultimates. We only see 1 right now with Reels. They need to find a pick. I mean, they got Mercury out of there. Now they need to turn their sights to an equally important target and maybe focus down the Ogni, force him into a bad spot, but it looks like instead they're just going to take this opportunity to head back. Youngbei, full health, almost full mana, goes back. It looks like he's going to be... No, yeah, I mean, he's just getting, he has level 2 restored artifacts. I mean, he has beads 1, sprint. I mean, that didn't seem like a very important back to me.
Well, you look at the hunters here. I mean, they're pretty equal, right? You got 10.5k there for Young, but across the way, you know, you see Real sitting at 10.9k. So 400 gold difference between the two hunters is just going to come down to gold theories and towers. You know, at that point, it's pretty, you know, non-consequential. And you're looking at this and saying there's still going to be single target potential from both teams in the mid stage as we progress towards these team fights. But the gold free about to respawn up here.
I'm rather looking at Bakasura on the right side, completely uncontested. Mercury's working his way back over just now. There should be some decent damage here. No, he's going to back off. I guess he just doesn't feel safe enough.
So hi-rez here, not electing to finish off the Titan's Bane. He feels 22% is definitely enough versus the 33, and he's going to go for Hydra Star. So hi-rez continue on with his tier 2 progression build. We like to build just the secondary passive for every item and just collect the stats.
Usually I'm okay with this, but Warrior's Bane isn't nearly as effective as Titan's Bane for the money. I mean, mathematically speaking, Titan's Bane is one of the strongest level ups in the game.
It's so cheap.
It's 600 gold.
It's so
cheap.
It's
necessary. Whereas, you know, Hydra's Lament costs a ton. Hydra Star isn't all that expensive and gives you 10% cooldown reduction on top of that passive. I mean, so there's a lot to think about there, but I would like to see the Titan's Bane finish, and there definitely needs to be some kind of crit chance in there. I mean, he's wasting his passive.
He really is. I mean, even just a Deathbringer Rush, we often do see after the Jotuns, or maybe even as a 4th item. And you know, he would do well with a Magi's as well, as far as how often he's in the fight and how much CC there is on the side of SK Gaming.
Well, he does have the beads.
Twig right, but it really does help a lot having that Magi's to initiate the fight and doesn't get interrupted. That's kind of what Badge has been doing, is slowing down their initiation by interrupting them every single time. But you know, Magi's, I would imagine, would be more of a 5th item here for them, or possibly even a 6th if they decide to delay it even longer.
Looking at Maniac right now, he's getting very close to being able to finish Rage if he tries to go into that, about 300 gold away from finishing Malice as well. I mean, the crit chance right now is going to be through the roof. He's got 20 from Deathbringer, he's got 10 on Golden Bow, and 10 on Short Sword, so already about 40% of the time he's going to be swinging those major looks for about 500 damage.
Hammer from Emily took in the poke onto Maniac there, forcing him out of the fight. The Hunters are still sitting left side of the lane. We're going to see Youngbei get it forced back away. Nice banish coming out from Youngbei, keeping Reals from going on that aggression. Of course, Youngbei does not want to get to about half HP before this team fight starts. That would be a huge detriment to them. Maniac's going to force a back bait here. Going to get hit by hi-rez and Emily. So the teleport comes out over smash as well. Badge looking for the taunt, just barely missing that one. The Gold Fury is a huge contest right now.
I think right now C9 would have an opportunity to go in. They don't even have the vision for it. I mean, they have a Sentry. They really could have pushed for that. And with the back from Maniac, they had that team fight potential, you know, in the bag. Reels still in the left lane. Actually might getting this tier 1, but he will overextend for that. He's going to find himself in kind of the hot seat here as he's going to be forced out by hi-rez.
They got ults. Did they go for it? There goes the Sacred Monkey. Not going to find it. Banish going to come out. It's going to land. Youngbay looking for some free shots here. Going to find it. Does he have a dash available? Looks like he does not. Some shots coming through there. Mid lane, some fights come down as well. The bottom going to go on top. Nemesis going to land on help. Optics dropping down his protections. There goes the Aegis. The walk Aegis popped up here. There goes ultimate from Maniac as well. Going to hit no one. Badge dropping low. There goes the damage from Optics as well. Emily's on the ground. Going to do a lot of damage here. Double kill for Optics. Looking for Zeros. Gonna find him. Reels is all alone. He's got nowhere to go. There goes the bench for Youngbay. They should be secure from him. He's got an ultimate available, but I don't even know if he's going to be able to go up. It looks like he will. Is he ticking down from the card? He is. The card may get the kill, but triple kill from Youngbay. I love this. Screw the Gold Fury. Let's go Fire Giant.
I mean, absolutely. Why would you even consider anything else? In fact, Optics is doing the even better play. Is that he doesn't have enough health to stand in that lava. He doesn't really have enough damage to offer the fight anyway. Hey, so why not push up the mid lane, get some damage on the mid tower while the rest of my team, you know, gets an objective. Use their time wisely. Still 6 seconds until Badger's up, and he's not a threat whatsoever. Aside from that, 15 seconds till anyone of any damage, any note really, is going to be alive. Clear out the jungle. Don't back until you have enough gold for the things that you want to buy. And remember, I mean, that's when, I mean, Maniac was able to finish his rage there. I mean, we still don't have the restored artifact done on the left side. Actually, there it goes. It just gets put into Rototivity, so they'll have a little bit more damage. But in the beginning, we were talking about the AoE. Right. And if they can get everything set up the way that they want it, it's gonna be explosive. And the way that hi-rez placed down that ultimate, I mean, I think that's the first play from hi-rez that we've seen in 3 weeks that has really changed the face of a team fight. That's the hi-rez I know from Season 2.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to see that ward being picked off by Emily, so I love the fact that they have a Thor Guardian who can block the other Guardian from even attacking the other ward. Able to secure that ward. Goldfree will be going down here, and SK has nowhere to go.
That's huge.
They're not going to look for it. They're actually going to go down with the mid tower, but I like the fact, and exactly right, I mean, I like the fact that Optics went for that mid tower. It did several things. Number one, it allowed him to heal off of minions with Exorcism, allowed him to get extra free gold for his team since he was not needed for the gold or for the Fire Giant, and it also allowed them to take that mid tower down, which, of course, 500 gold is interesting, but that's the pillar of the mid-area focus. If you take that down, it opens the map so much.
They accidentally reset the blue buff there on the left side, but there's 5 people here. NQ actually going to back to make sure that Maniac doesn't blow this tower down, or rather this Phoenix. He's going to recognize that fact and back off. They're going to be pushing into the tier 2. This is a 4v4 right here with the Fire Giant, but it doesn't look like they're going to get aggressive enough to go for it.
They've got some sentry wards down. They're going to spot this out. I like the vision control from C9. Zero's going to walk up. Of course, he is in vision, looking for that banish from Youngbay. I like he's standing in the front, looking for the initiation. And we do have NQ on the right side, still farming away. He's level 20 here. He does have his Witchblade done. He's already up into a short sword. Fire Giant buff looks like it's going to last a long time. It's still got about 2.5 minutes left on here, DM, and they got a lot of time to spend.
I like the Runeforge hammer coming out from Emilito. Going to give him 15% of his physical protection back into physical power, which is going to work great with Sav. It's also a ton of health. I mean, he's getting 350 health from Runeforge, 400 health from Sav, 200 health from Heavy Hammer, and 100 health from Midas Boots. I mean, that's extremely hard. So then
Bot's ultimate, capturing forced away, purification beats comes out of will. Emily to go up in the air, but will they dive? The Phoenix question, and he's going in. There goes the duck, not going to find. Up in the air goes Reels, but he will land right back down to death if he's not careful here. Optics is going to get ulted there by Zeros. Big kill on Badger, jump at the wall. Zero's still in trouble. Look for the follow-up. hi-rez is deep in the base, but he will disengage. Maniac Crossway going to find NQ. There goes the crit from the Mage. You look, but it doesn't do enough to force him out. Big crit still coming through. Maniac drop in fast. He needs to get out of here. He will find the distance. NQ coming through. Will he have the damage he needs? Emilito blocks him away from the well. He's still outside of it. There goes the kill on Reels. It might be enough. There goes the kill from Youngbay because of the wall. He will go down. Beautiful play from Emilito. Assist from Youngbay, and now it's just Zeros. And looked like he's trying to be a hero here, but he cannot elevate, and the Titan will fall. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, C9 beats SK Gaming 29-16.
You're looking at the builds here. A lot of tankiness coming out from Emilito. A lot of tankiness coming out from NQ. Much more than usual. And then, of course, there's Zhang Kui. So when Nemesis goes into the fight, she goes, who do I try to stop? Oof. Doesn't matter who she picks. She'll hurt someone, sure. I mean, she's going to hurt a build one way or another. But by forcing that decision to say, maybe I shouldn't ult Zhang. And if I do ult Zhang, then Bakasura is just going to run a train on us. But I'm really looking at Youngbay here. 7-0-13. No deaths from Freya.
Well, I mean, that's all he did, right? He played very, very careful there. And, you know, Youngwei's a great person to bring up here, but of course, he had a lot of presence in the Gold Fury fights. One thing I can think of immediately is that triple kill that he had in front of the Gold Fury. You know, it seemed like it was a good fight, but the problem is, you know, SK was split. Rios was on the left side of the Gold Fury. We saw 3 members from SK on the right side of the Gold Fury, and Optics bought time with that walking Aegis to avoid the damage. Youngwei popping the sprint here. Look at the forward momentum. He's actually going to do a damage here on Captain Twig and look for the follow-up with that wall from Naluto. And this is why I like Thor as a support over Nemesis. He's got so much control. We saw that at the end of the game. That wall blocked him out of the well.
Again, people